Today we say goodbye to our beloved stadium at Zafferana, Etnea. That should be pretty simple. I think we look pretty good. But could there be a twist in the tail? I wonder. So here we are and in Regen Day, and as you can see, well, compare that with that. It's quite a big difference. Having said that, this guy doesn't look too bad. You see, I've now just put in the little markers to remind me who the youth intake are. Utara is certainly promising. I like the 18 bravery. That's very nice, and the heading is also good. I'm assuming that means he's really tall. Let me just check that. He is. He's not that tall. But yeah, I think it's probably just him, Utara. Yeah, although nothing there really. No. He's not too bad. We don't really need right wingers. Bearing in mind that at the moment we can't really buy players, it's kind of important we start bringing in some players who have some quality, and Utara does look like a decent player, certainly. So I'll be back in a sec. We're going to have a game, and as you can see, our form is pathetic at the moment. We've got a real problem, and suddenly we're not just thinking about not finishing the top half, we're thinking about whether we could still get relegated. I don't think we will, but I mean the top half is definitely gone now. We're 18 points off Regina in 31. We've just in 10th. We've just completely fallen apart, barely scoring a goal. We haven't scored two since the 21st of December. It's the 7th of April now. Since that day, we have only won one game, and we've got 6 points. It's just all fallen away. I was thinking about trying a new tactic, and I may well try and do that. This is the same formation that we got promoted with, but it seems to me to have gone a bit stale. Maybe we'll head back to one of the old tactics, perhaps. If even the roller tactic might make some sense. It might be worth thinking about. We may have the players for that. But anyway, I'll be back for the Virtus Centella game, because they are bottom of the table, and that obviously means that this is a game that we definitely need to be winning. If we don't win that, start to be really a bit worried about that relegation. I think if we win it, we should be more or less safe. But if we were to lose that one, I would start to be a bit worried. So I will see you in a second, and hopefully we can get that win away at Virtus Centella. Right, at this point I'm going to have to apologise, because the video for the Virtus Centella game did not turn out very well. So we are going to return for a different game instead. You'll see what the state of play is shortly. I obviously know at this stage, but you will see how the season ended in a sec. As you can see, this is what I meant. It is the last day today at Zafferana Etnea, and the sadness of this is that this is one of the things that's sort of real. The club itself is not. It's a made-up club. Zafferana Etnea is a real existing stadium. If you go back to the first couple of videos, you'll actually be able to see it. You can see here, this is the real ASD Zafferana Stadium, right near Mount Etna. It's in the shadow, it's probably behind the camera here. But today, we will have our last ever game there. We will have it knowing that we are safe in Serie B, although only just. We have had an appalling second half of the season. We've got 2 wins since, well, the turn of the year. After we'd had a pretty decent start to the season, to be honest. We've ended up really coming right down. You can see the form has been so bad. We've rocketed right down from thinking about top half finish to really only getting our survival secure fairly late on. The graph of our cumulative points throughout the season looks ridiculous, because it goes straight up for a while and then just goes straight across, because we've got so few points in the second half of the season. It's not been good, but we're here now. We are safe. We've got the last game now at Zafferana Etnea. It's going to be the first season, actually, that we've gone backwards. Every season up till now, we have had more points than the season before, with the exception, of course, of the years that we got promoted or relegated. I suppose the one time you could say potentially that we haven't done that was when we got promoted at the first time of asking, after we got relegated, and we actually got 11 points fewer than the first time we got promoted. But we got promoted anyway, so it didn't really matter. This season has been, by any measure, a failure. I set myself the target. I think it was. Let me just check actually. I set myself the target of 60 points. We are going to end up with barely more than half of that. And yeah, I am very disappointed. There are reasons for it. This is the main one. But yeah, it's just not great. It's not where I wanted to be as we move from the old stadium to the new. But these things happen, I suppose. And I'm going to bring you the last game just because it is a historic moment in the lifetime of this club. I think it deserves to be marked in this way. But it would be nice if we could finish top of this little bottom pile at 15th. That would, I suppose, be a little thing that we could take at the end of the season. But it has been definitely a very, very disappointing season. It's been the first time really where I felt like we've taken a step backwards in the save. So here we go. We'll walk out at Zafferana Etnea for the very last time. Moving to a new stadium, it did have to happen. It was, I think, a step towards being a little bit more financially sustainable. At the moment, we are going to have to cut our cloth. We're going to have to get rid of a few players, replace them with cheaper players and or academy players. You can see that even in this team, there are growing numbers of players, certainly on the bench, who are from the academy, and that's going to only get more and more so in the next few years. We may even have to accept that we may get relegated at some point. I don't know. It depends how much of a boost this new stadium will give us. It may be that the attendances improve so much because we've now been a Serie B side for a couple of years because we've obviously had that kind of boost in reputation, and the brand new stadium means that people perhaps in Sicily will be flocking to us a little bit more. That's the only thing that perhaps makes me think perhaps we might be okay financially, but certainly it's going to be a problem. And you can see here we are being battered at the moment. This is not a team I don't think that can survive for too much longer because we're going to have to keep selling players to keep the money coming in, and we're going to have to find a way to replace them with better players because at the moment we can't do that. As I say, with the new stadium, it might be that the finances start to improve slightly, but we are financing massive debt for the stadium as well. So that's a bit of a double-edged sword, really. Sorry about that. Something just dropped. And yeah, we're just basically just looking to survive in Serie B for a little while, I think. It's going to be a bit of a stabilisation period. We're going to have to just accept that promotion from Serie B is going to be a while off, I think, because we're going to have to be very, very careful with the money. Of course, there is always the caveat that a board takeover is not impossible. We have had a little bit of an injection of cash from the board recently, and if that continues, or if better still, we get a takeover and it clears all of our debt, then obviously things change. But at the moment, I think we're going to be looking at a few years still in Serie B, assuming we can survive here, and just trying to keep ourselves. If we can get up towards that mid-table and stay there for a little while, I'll be pretty pleased with that. And then once we've got a little bit more room for manoeuvre, we can start to push for that top echelons and starting to think about getting up towards Serie A. But it's going to be a little while off, I think. I'm talking really about the future because this game is really kind of irrelevant. We obviously lost it pretty early on. I say lost it, but I can't really see us coming back into it, I don't think. We're talking about a decent side here. Reynat Nori is playing for them. And whilst I'm sure he's not the player he is in real life at the moment, he's currently a Premier League player in real life. So, we're talking about decent footballers here. I think, sadly, quite a bit better than our players. We are also, by far the lowest wages at the moment, and yet these wages are crippling us. If you look at the wages for the league at the moment, it's actually not quite the lowest, but it's quite a long way below the 18th place. So it's not particularly surprising that we're low in it. You look at the teams at Genoa are not even top, and they've got a salary per annum about 10 times more than we do. It's just not realistic to think that we can compete with them at the moment. Now, hopefully, over the next few years, that can change. What I am also hoping is that we have a bit of room for expansion of the stadium. I'm hoping that they've built a bit of a future-proof stadium in mind because whilst I'm not necessarily expecting this to be the last stadium we build, it's clearly going to be, I think it's 25 years, isn't it, in game, before you can build another one. And whilst I may well get to that point, because this is going to be a long save, I don't really imagine that this will be, we won't be there for a long time. We might get a new stadium right at the end. If we're in Champions League, if we're a big team in Europe, then yeah, sure. But other than that, that won't happen. Vignola gets a goal back. I do wonder if we can get a last-minute winner here, or sorry, a last-minute point here. It'd be nice to sign off at the old ground with something, at least a point. If we come back from 2-0 down to win 3-2, it really would make for a lovely little sort of send-off for the old stadium. Interesting to see whether the game recognises that in game, like within the actual game. Will I see a kind of newer stadium? It's obviously not going to be a lot bigger. I haven't actually checked how big the stadium is, but it is going to be newer. So I'm really just wondering whether maybe we will see that in game, whether that will be reflected. I don't know is the answer. It's been a long time since I had a stadium built in game, several years I think. Sadly, I think we are probably going to be ending here with a whimper rather than a roar. It has been a really tough end of the season. Whilst we have just about secured survival, this is not really what I wanted. I've changed formation as well. I've tried lots of different things. Nothing's really worked. And we are, I think, going to bow out with another defeat at Zafferana Etnea, which is sad. And there it is. Zafferana Etnea is officially closed. And we close with a disappointing defeat. I'm actually quite sad. I really am. Oh, and now I'd forgotten about this. I did know this, but I'd forgotten that I now have to face a playoff. And I'd completely forgotten. And the thing is, if we'd won that game, we wouldn't have had to do it. Oh, goodness me. Completely forgot about that. Completely forgot. So we are now going to be facing... I thought that was the last game. It's going to turn out not to be, I think, because we'll have a home leg of the play-out. So 31st of May. Goodness. Right. Okay. So essentially, it's a case of we need now to beat Lucchese Libertas over 2 legs, and we haven't won a game. Well, we've won 1 game since 1st of February and 2 in this year. I'm now worried. We'll cut straight to that game because I'd forgotten about that. We'll have a season review next time, and we'll just, well, hopefully we'll have the celebrations of staying up this season at the end of this video. But at the moment, this is definitely not a guarantee. We'll have to see what happens now. Very, very worrying times. This hasn't worked, has it, this change? I think I might just switch back from the roller tactic to what we've been using for most of the season, because it really hasn't worked, that switch. I did switch it because I thought, well, we need to change it because, well, you can see why. But it hasn't worked, so I'm going to switch back. Hopefully one that we're familiar enough with that we should hopefully be able to kind of pull it all back together and become the better team that we were at the start of the season, because at the start of the season we were pretty good. So anyway, I'll be back in 15 days for that game, and I guess we'll have to try and fight for our lives. Right, and here we go with the game against Lucchese Libertas. Really didn't expect to have to play this earlier in the season. It's very disappointing that we're here, but we're going to have to play it. We're going to have to play it as well as we can, and we're going to have to hope for the best. Petriccioni is going to come in. I just have a feeling for him today. Right, so here we go. 2 games away, and of course we now are playing again at Zafferana now. Roller now to Bolzan, has a good shot early on. So we've had the first proper chance of the game. Petriccioni can't find anyone, but Boccia now takes it out. Boccia was a big problem for me last time. In fact, I think both of the games against Lucchese Libertas, he got a goal. So actually thinking about it, I need to be aware of that and make sure that I mark him, show him onto his wrong foot, because he's certainly going to be a threat for us. Chewy said, oh, Boccia, we're just letting him go. Just told them not to do that. Petriccioni, I think, was that Colucci or Calzola? I'm not sure. Coming through and getting a header, forcing a save. We've got another corner, but couldn't make anything of that either. 3 shots for both teams. Nothing of massive note yet. Bolzan goes through. Bolzan, I don't know why he shot from there. He had time to run. Still no shots on target yet. Meloni changes that with speculative but decent shot. Good free kick. Do see those go in at this level because the goalkeepers obviously aren't that good. But they go in perhaps a little bit more often, even if they're a little fluky. Straudi, Vignola, Giliberti crosses the ball in, and can't quite force the ball in, but we are looking quite threatening now. Seems to have stepped up a gear just recently. Liberty. Perizan, long ball out. Shot there from, I'm not sure who was that, it was Petriccioni from a long way out. And again, I'd rather we didn't. In fact, I wonder if we can change something here. I'd rather we didn't shoot from quite so far out, personally. Let's work the ball into the box, please, folks. Meloni, another. What's he doing? Why do we keep shooting from such massive distances unnecessarily? Boccia goes through, and good save, I think, from Perizan there. Giliberti. Back to Giliberti again. Can he get a cross in? No, but he gets to the byline. Milani's there. Shot, and Straudi hits the ball wide. Takes us to half-time. Fairly even game. We've had a lot more shots than them, but they haven't necessarily been so good. Need to keep going. I want to win this one. The away leg, obviously, a win would be invaluable. Don't really want to have to go away and have to win. You think, oh God, Giliberti's got himself sent off now. That's going to make things harder. Right. So, any new left back. Colo is the obvious one, I think. Who do I bring him on for? I think we've got to do. It's got to be Straudi. Just gives the extra man taken out of the midfield, which is a shame. But I don't think we've got much choice. I'm going to go a bit more cautious now. I think at this point we do take a draw, even though clearly it's not what I would have wanted. We have had a couple of games this season where we've had people sent off and managed to get a win after that. So it could happen, but it won't be easy for sure. Bolzan now. That's Papetti. Vignola. Back to Papetti. Can he get the ball in? Can. And Bolzan's there. We've got the goal. We're ahead. Let's just defend that now. We need to defend that lead. A 1-0 win, given the circumstances, is an absolutely fantastic result. With 11 men, I might have been thinking, let's try and get a 2-goal lead. But with 10 men, just hold on to it. Just be careful. Don't do anything silly. Can get another goal. Great. Colo picks the ball up. We do here, Cocolo. Crosses the ball in. Bolzan's there. We are 2 up. Fantastic. So even with 10 men, we have managed to score 2 goals against Lucchese Libertas. And we've got 1 foot staying in Serie B for next year, don't we? Still a long way to go yet, though. Well, we've got half an hour-ish to go to hold out. I mean, the chances of keeping a clean sheet here are probably small. Loses the ball. Oh, good save by Perizan. I'm going to take Roller off because I don't think he's been very good today and he's been booked. So we're going to bring on Giordano. No, yes, Giordano. Cialone, held by Perizan. Had a good game today again. It's been a while since he's been the great goalkeeper that he was earlier in the season. But he has been pretty good in this game. Really pretty good. And that was offside. 2 goals in 3 minutes there from Bolzan. Can we hold on to that? Oh, now Maloney's going to be sent off. Down to 9 men. We've got 18 minutes. Oh, God. Right. What can we do here? Got to leave Bolzan up. Fullbacks can be more defensive. Ciccione is going to be more of a ball-winning midfielder. I think that's all we can really do. And then just going to make this guy into a target forward so that we can just hoof the ball up to him and hopefully he'll hold the ball up a bit and just allow the play to slow down. I also want to go at really, really slow tempo. I want to waste time all the time, be more disciplined. I mean, if we hold out for a 2-0 win here, it will be an absolute miracle with 9 men. Papetti, Bellucci. Doing very well here. Go back, go back. No, it was unnecessary. An unnecessary risk. Don't need to get another goal here. We just need to hold it. Oh, and Perizan has made an absolutely super save there. Goodness me, this is heroic. Can we hold on to it, though? If we come out of this with a 2-0 win, it will be a miracle. Tomasini puts that wide. It really will be a miracle. Camponegro, Perizan makes another save. It's not really, it's not going to be very helpful. I mean, to be fair, I've been telling them to hit the ball out. And that makes sense, to be fair. But it's not really working in terms of holding the ball up because Bolzan's just not winning the headers. Just into injury time now. I think we'll probably win this, even if it's not 2-0. And I think, yes, we are going to somehow keep a clean sheet. Oh, are we? Have I spoken too soon? Maybe. No, that's gone out. I think I haven't. We are indeed going to keep a clean sheet. What a win. That is absolutely fantastic. And it looks to me like we're probably going to stay in this division. That really was quite special. Perhaps one of the best performances in terms of just pure guts and guile that I've seen from this team. I'm going to save that just to make sure I don't lose it, because goodness me, what a win. And we've obviously got a couple of bans. Bolzan finally getting some goals. About time too, it's been a while. And that's completely changed the outlook for that second leg. We can now be a little bit more cautious. I'm not going to say I'm not going to go for goals or anything like that. We will try and score. But we can certainly be quite cautious about not going too hard on them. Not really pushing it, just trying to make sure that we keep everything tight and be sensible. And I think if we can do that, then we will be absolutely fine. We're going to have to play Eruption, even though he's not very good. Right, I'll be back for the second leg in a second. So here we are for the second leg. Hopefully the successful second leg. We only need to get a point here or a draw. In fact, a 1-0 defeat or 1-goal defeat would be fine too, but obviously that's not something that I want to be settling for. I am, however, going to be cautiously looking for goals in this game. DRB to Straudy. If we can get an early goal, that'd be very nice. Really would pretty much put the game to bed. I don't know what the situation is with away goals, so I need to check that. But I won't bother yet. Frankly, it doesn't matter at the moment. Papetti. Vignola. That was a really good effort from Perna there. Well, at least a very good chance. I'm not sure, very, very good effort. A really good chance to have that early goal that would have made a really big difference. It would probably have settled the game down a bit and just made it pretty simple from there on. Corrado, great save from Perizan there. Carrying on his great form from the first game. Been a while that Perizan's been a bit poor. But I mean, he's not the only one by any means. Vignola nearly makes it 1-0, 3-0 early on. Straudy now takes it away. Can we make something happen here? Roller crosses the ball in. You can see Roller's lovely little mohawk in the match engine, which I do like. It's one of the nice little tweaks that when players do change their hairstyles, it is reflected in the match engine. And there's Vignola! And surely that will be it now. 3-0 up, 60 minutes to go, and surely that's enough. Fantastic from Vignola. And we are staying, I think, in Serie B after what has not been a good season. But it will, I think, be ultimately a, well, not a successful one, but one where we have at least achieved the minimum objective, which was to stay in the league. I did have more objectives than that, but yeah, that went a while ago, really. The objective has been to stay in the league for quite some time now. And Camponigro, am I celebrating too early? Possibly. Made it 3-1. At least get through to half-time at 1-1. It is indeed 1-1. Let's make sure that we can hold on to this in the second half, though. Straudy finds Papetti. Can we make something happen here and really put this to bed? Papetti. Straudy shoots. Ooh, it's a good shot, that, you know. Ambitious, but nearly went in. Half an hour to go. Ron's having a really poor game, so let's bring on Anselmo. And Tomasini's through. Great save from Perizan. That might just be the save that gives us the belief that we can hold out here. Camponigro. Pressure is coming onto us, though, a little bit. They're obviously going for it, but if we can just nick a goal, see if we can just play that a little bit wider. And exploit the wing-backs being caught too far forward. That could be something useful for us. Cocolo. Perna does get behind the wing-back, and, oh, I think that's looked like a very good move already. Well, now would really end it. Goal for them would make it scary. Perna. Cocolo. Straudy to Anselmo. Papetti, can he get the cross in? He can. And Bolzan heads it over. Camponigro, oh, goodness me, he's had chances, that boy. Camponigro could probably have had a hat-trick. 10 minutes to go. 2 goals the lead. It looks like we're going to be okay. Just make a substitution and shore that up a little bit. Bolzan. Goal now, of course, would it absolutely end it. Cocolo. Vignola. Can't quite find the Zafferana head. Straudy, well, what a goal! Did not see that one coming, and that really is it. 4-1, 5 minutes to go. That is game over. It was probably game over anyway, but that's just made absolutely doubly sure. And we will be staying in Serie B next year, despite an absolute horror show of the second half of the season. Really has not been good. I think it was 4 points in the second half, something like that. Bassett gets another one just to put the icing on the cake. Not that it matters at this point. And we will be in Serie B for next season, so that is fantastic. Third consecutive season there, and now we will be looking at really trying to push on and try and get into that top half, because that really that was the massive thing that I wanted to do this year, is get into that top half and really become a proper Serie B side. That is fantastic, though, that we've not only stayed in the league, we've actually stayed in the league quite easily in the end, 5-1 on aggregate, and that is terrific for us. What we need to do, though, next season is we need to be looking at finishing in that top half, and hopefully significantly so. I'm just trying to think of a target, really. I mean, top half looks like 50 points is top half, doesn't it? Pretty much always. There's one exception here, but generally it's 50 points. I'd quite like to be kind of securely in it, though, so I think I might actually go 55 points. This season obviously has not been good. We've got 33. 14 points fewer than last season, in fact. But it's been a poor season. I actually set the target at 60 points for this season. And as you can see, that would have put us in the playoffs, and we were massively off that. I'm going to bring the target down a little bit to that 55-point mark. And I do think that should be doable. I don't think I'm going to be losing a lot of players from this season. Obviously, bringing people in is going to be difficult. But one thing I may be able to do is get rid of some of the players who haven't done very well. So, I mean, the people at the top of this list are the people on the highest wages. Petriccioni is retiring anyway, so that's good. Meloni, Bacalzola, Papetti. I mean, Papetti I don't think is worth keeping now. Meloni, don't think so either. He had a really good start to the season, Meloni. Maybe I will keep him. There's something there. Bolzan will keep. Volta I think we can get rid of. These are all assuming, of course, that I can sell them. It may not be possible. But yeah, that's certainly something that I need to be doing. Because the thing is, I am really, really struggling for money at the moment. So it's not necessarily a case of not wanting the players. It's just that we haven't got the money. And I need to get the money in so that we can be a little bit more financially viable. Because as you can see, even with a bit of an injection we've had recently, we are really, really struggling. There's a lot of money to be made up. And yes, the new stadium will help, but it won't help much. It will only help a little. One thing I've been trying to do for a while is to get a senior affiliate. They keep saying that they can't find anyone. Hopefully that might change over this summer, but who knows. I will be back with a transfer video tomorrow, and you will hopefully see the squad being cleverly, and it's going to have to be clever because we haven't got any money, but you'll hopefully see the squad being cleverly reshaped into a team that can perhaps push for that top half. So join us tomorrow. We hopefully will have a slightly more comfortable season in Serie B next year. Definitely not looking for promotion, but I want to be comfortable. I want it to be easy. I want it to be no worries about relegation, and hopefully that's what you will see. See you tomorrow.